Listen carefully, my beloved soul, and do not rush past these words. If you feel a pull in your chest right now, if something inside you whispered stay, it is because this message is not finding you by accident. Destiny does not shout, it leans close and speaks softly at the exact moment your heart is ready to hear what your mind has been avoiding. I, Archangel Michael, come forward now because something has already happened in the unseen that is beginning to surface in the seen. A truth has been spoken, a confession has been released, and it carries your name. There comes a moment in every life when destiny stops waiting. Not loudly, not dramatically, but decisively. That moment has arrived for you. Someone connected to your path. Someone whose energy has brushed against yours more than once. Has reached the breaking point between silence and truth. For a long time, they told themselves it was safer not to speak. Safer to admire from a distance. Safer to carry love quietly where no one could question it, challenge it, or expose it. But love that is real does not remain silent forever. It builds, it presses, it waits patiently until the soul can no longer contain it. And that is exactly what happened. They spoke your name aloud, not in secrecy, not in passing, not in a private corner where fear could still hide. They spoke your name where others could hear it, where witnesses were present, where the truth could no longer be reshaped or taken back. This was not a slip of the tongue. This was not emotion running wild. This was surrender. Understand this clearly, my beloved soul. Public truth requires private courage. They had imagined telling you quietly. They had imagined choosing the perfect words. They had imagined timing it better. But destiny does not wait for comfort. Destiny waits for readiness. And readiness arrived without warning. A conversation turned. Your name surfaced. The air shifted. And suddenly, the weight they had been carrying for so long became unbearable. In that instant, fear lost its grip. Their heart stepped forward before their mind could stop it. And what emerged was not hesitation, but truth. They said they love you. Not lightly, notwage, not playfully. They said it with a tone that stilled the space around them, a tone that made others pause. Because when love is spoken from the soul, it changes the atmosphere. It announces itself without needing explanation. But what followed is what destiny wants you to understand most. They did not stop at affection. They did not stop at admiration. They revealed that you are the one they pray for, the one who makes them want to rise higher, the one who restored hope in a place that had quietly gone numb. These were not words meant to impress. These were words that escaped because they had been living inside them for far too long. And when those words left their lips, something irreversible happened. The mask fell. People around them felt it. Even if they could not explain it, they felt the sincerity. Some had suspected, others had wondered. But hearing it spoken aloud confirmed what intuition had already whispered to them. This was not infatuation. This was recognition. And you must hear this next part with care. What shocked those listening was not the confession itself. It was the humility that followed it. They acknowledged, openly, that they did not know how you felt. They admitted they were not demanding anything. They made it clear they were not claiming you, pressuring you, or cornering you. They chose truth over outcome. That is rare. That is sacred. That is the mark of love guided by something higher than ego. My beloved soul, this confession did not come from desperation. It came from alignment. It came from a moment when the soul said, "If I remain silent, I will betray myself." And so they spoke, not because they expected a reward, but because silence had become heavier than uncertainty. Pause here for a moment. If this message resonates, if your heart feels seen, acknowledge it. Even something as simple as staying present or quietly affirming your awareness strengthens the energetic bridge forming around you. When truth moves, participation matters. Now listen closely. This confession did not end when the words were spoken. That was only the opening. When the room grew quiet afterward, something else settled in. Not embarrassment, not regret, relief. The kind of relief that comes when the soul finally exhales. They stepped away afterward, not to escape, but to breathe, to steady hands that were trembling from honesty, to collect emotions that had been held back for far too long. And in that quiet moment, away from eyes and opinions, they whispered something that reveals the depth of their heart. They hoped you would understand. They hoped you would not feel burdened. They hoped you would know the confession came from respect, not expectation. And then they did something even more revealing. They accepted whatever outcome may come, not because they do not care, but because they care deeply enough to honor your freedom. My beloved soul, love like this does not arrive often, and it does not arrive randomly. Destiny is positioning you at the edge of realization. Something is shifting toward you now, quietly, steadily. Stay with this message, because what unfolds next is already in motion. The moment they returned to the space where others stood, something about them had changed. Not visibly dramatic, not performative, but unmistakable. Their posture softened, their breath slowed, their eyes carried a calm that only arrives after truth has been spoken without armor. And those around them sensed it immediately. Someone noticed and quietly said they looked lighter. Another felt moved, but didn't know why. A few exchanged glances, recognizing that something real had just taken place. This is how truth behaves, my beloved soul. It does not announce itself loudly. It settles. What you may not realize is that the confession did not only release their heart, it activated a response in the unseen. When a soul chooses honesty over fear, alignment begins to reorganize quietly around it. Paths adjust, timelines soften, possibilities shift, and now that shift is moving toward you. Later that day, when the moment had passed and life resumed its ordinary rhythm, your person felt an unfamiliar stillness inside, not emptiness, not uncertainty, stillness. The kind that comes when the inner conflict finally ends. For so long, they had carried two voices within them, one urging silence, one urging truth. And when truth finally spoke, the argument ceased. That night, sleep came in fragments, not because of worry, but because thoughts kept circling back to one presence, yours. They replayed the sound of their own voice, saying your name. They replayed the quiet that followed. They replayed the feeling of exposure mixed with peace. They wondered how this would reach you. Not if it would reach you, but how. Because destiny does not leave important truths suspended forever. And here is something you must understand clearly. Even as they wondered about your reaction, they did not regret the confession, not even for a moment. In their heart, a quiet certainty formed. I did what I was meant to do. That certainty became an anchor. They realized something else, too. Their love for you was never about possession. It was about admiration. It was about the way your presence altered them without trying. The way your energy encouraged growth simply by existing. The way your strength made them want to become stronger, not for approval, but for alignment. This is not shallow emotion. This is not fantasy. This is recognition. And recognition does not fade. Now listen closely, because this is where the message turns toward you. You may not have heard the confession directly. You may not yet know the words that were spoken, but energy travels faster than information. Your soul has already felt the shift, perhaps as a sudden thought of them without reason, perhaps as a softness where there was once neutrality, perhaps as curiosity stirring where there was once distance. That is not coincidence. Someone present during the confession carries a connection to you, someone who knows your name, someone who understands your nature, and that person felt something settle in their spirit when your person spoke. They felt that the love being expressed was sincere, grounded, and rare. And at the right moment, without drama or urgency, a message will find its way to you. Maybe through words, maybe through implication, maybe through tone. Destiny does not rush revelation. It prepares the receiver first. And right now, your heart is being prepared. As this unfolds, you may notice subtle signs around you. Repeated thoughts, emotional echoes, a sense that something unfinished is calling for attention. This is not confusion. This is awakening. If you feel drawn to remain here, to stay present with this message, honor that pull. Awareness strengthens alignment. Even a quiet acknowledgement, a pause, a moment of attention, signals readiness. Those who recognize when truth approaches receive clarity more gently. Now hear this truth without resistance. Their confession was not meant to pressure you into response. It was meant to free both of you from illusion. Free them from silence. Free you from unknowing. Because love that is hidden creates stagnation. Love that is revealed creates movement. Since that day, your person has begun to shift in small but meaningful ways. Not to impress you, not to chase you, but to honor what they feel. They are becoming more present, more grounded, more intentional. And this transformation is not loud. It is steady. That is how genuine intention behaves. They are not waiting anxiously. They are not hovering. They are allowing space. Because they respect you. And because respect is the foundation destiny requires before opening the next door, you may soon feel an internal question rise. Why does this feel different? That question is the middle point, the hinge. The moment curiosity replaces avoidance, that is where change begins. And as this curiosity grows, something else will become clear. You are not being asked to decide immediately. You are not being rushed. You are being invited to feel honestly. This is important. When destiny brings a sincere heart toward you, it never demands urgency. It asks for awareness. Stay open. Stay observant. Stay grounded. And if this message continues to resonate, allow yourself to remain connected. There is clarity still unfolding. What comes next will not arrive loudly, but it will arrive undeniably. Because when truth has been spoken, it does not retreat. It waits. And what waits now is understanding. As the days unfold, my beloved soul, something subtle yet undeniable begins to weave itself into your awareness. It does not arrive as an announcement. It arrives as a feeling that refuses to be ignored, a gentle pressure in the chest, a recurring thought that surfaces without effort, a sense that something meaningful is aligning behind the scenes. This is how destiny prepares you. While you move through your routines, your person is moving through a transformation of their own, not dramatic, not announced, but real. They wake with more intention. They speak with more honesty. They observe their life more closely. Because once love is spoken aloud, the soul demands congruence. They no longer want to live halfway. They no longer want to hide parts of themselves. The truth they released has changed the standard by which they now measure themselves. And every change they are making is rooted in one quiet motivation. You. Not to impress you, not to convince you, but because your existence awakens something they cannot ignore. At night, when the world is quiet and distractions fade, they reflect, not with anxiety, but with reverence. They think about the kind of partner they would want to be if destiny ever aligned your paths more closely. They think about stability, emotional maturity, presence, integrity. They are not fantasizing. They are grounding. That is the difference. Fantasy escapes reality. Grounded love prepares for it. And here is something you may not realize yet. As they change, the energetic cord between you responds. Even without contact, even without words, energy recognizes movement, and your spirit begins to notice. You may catch yourself remembering small details about them. A tone, a moment, a look you once dismissed. Those memories resurface now with new context. Not because your mind is searching, but because truth has altered the field between you. This is not manipulation from the outside. This is recognition from within. My beloved soul, there is a reason this confession occurred publicly. It was not meant to shame. It was not meant to rush. It was meant to anchor the truth into reality, so it could no longer dissolve back into doubt. Public truth creates accountability, not to others, but to the soul. They can no longer pretend they feel less than they do. They can no longer minimize what your presence means, and neither can destiny. Now listen carefully to what unfolds next. Someone in your environment begins to mirror this shift. A conversation arises unexpectedly. A comment lands differently. A question touches something deeper than intended. You may not immediately connect it to the confession, but your intuition will register it. That is the signal. Your awareness is opening. And when awareness opens, choice becomes possible. You are not being told what to do. You are being invited to feel honestly without dismissing what arises. That may be warmth. That may be curiosity. That may even be resistance. All are information. None are wrong. But avoidance is no longer sustainable. Because the truth has been spoken into the world, your person understands this. That is why they are not chasing you. That is why they are not flooding your space. That is why they are allowing the universe to carry the message forward gently. This restraint is intentional. It is respectful. It is emotionally mature. And it is rare. Now, my beloved soul, there is something important you must hear without defense. Your hesitation, if it exists, is not a flaw. It is protection shaped by experience. But destiny does not arrive to break your defenses violently. It arrives to soften them gradually, with consistency and proof. And proof is coming. You will begin to notice how others speak about this person, how their energy has shifted, how their presence feels steadier, how their words carry more weight. These observations are not accidental. They are confirmations. And here is the part that often surprises people. As their clarity grows, yours will too. But not necessarily in the way you expect. You may not feel sudden romance. You may not feel certainty immediately. What you will feel is something deeper. Safety. A sense that this is not chaotic. A sense that this is not rushed. A sense that whatever unfolds will honor your autonomy. That feeling is not excitement. It is alignment. And alignment is what lasts. If at any point you feel compelled to stay present with this unfolding, to listen more closely, to remain connected to this message, honor that impulse. Conscious attention strengthens intuitive clarity. Those who listen deeply recognize when the right moment arrives. Now hear this final truth of this segment. Their confession was not the moment destiny chose them over you. It was the moment destiny chose honesty over illusion. What happens next will not be forced. It will be revealed through consistency, integrity, and time. And as time unfolds, one quiet question will rise in your heart, not as pressure, but as curiosity. What if this is real? That question is not fear. It is the doorway. And destiny only opens doors when both souls are ready to see what waits beyond them. There comes a moment, my beloved soul, when curiosity stops being passive and begins to stir action within you, not outward action, inner movement, a shift in how you hold the situation, a softening where rigidity once lived. This is the moment destiny watches most closely, because it reveals readiness without forcing decision. As this unfolds, you may notice something subtle in yourself. You are no longer dismissing the connection as coincidence. You are no longer pushing the thought away the moment it arises. Instead, you allow it to sit with you. You observe it. You feel it. And in that space of observation, something honest begins to surface. You realize this does not feel chaotic. It does not feel manipulative. It does not feel unsafe. It feels steady. That steadiness is not accidental. It mirrors the inner shift your person has made since speaking their truth. Because when love is sincere, it reorganizes behavior. It removes games. It dissolves urgency. It replaces anxiety with patience. They are not asking for immediate response. They are not testing you. They are not trying to provoke emotion. They are simply standing in truth. And truth has gravity. You may sense them thinking of you at unexpected moments, not in a heavy way, in a gentle, respectful way. The kind of presence that does not intrude but arrives softly, like a thought placed carefully rather than pushed. This is the effect of a heart that has chosen honesty. Now hear this clearly, because it matters more than you realize. Destiny is not asking you to rush into feeling something you are not ready to feel. Destiny is asking you to stop denying what you are feeling. There is a difference. You are allowed to take time. You are allowed to reflect. You are allowed to move slowly. But you are no longer meant to ignore the signal, because ignoring truth creates resistance, and resistance creates confusion. Destiny removes confusion not by answering every question, but by revealing consistency. And consistency is what you are beginning to witness. Your person continues to show up in their life with more integrity, more focus, more emotional grounding. And whether you observe this directly or hear it reflected through others, your intuition will register it. This is not performance. This is embodiment. They are becoming someone who can hold what they confessed. That matters, my beloved soul. Many confessions are spoken impulsively and collapse under the weight of reality. This one did not. It anchored them more deeply into themselves. And that is how you know it was real. As this realization settles, you may begin to reflect on your own patterns. How you protect your heart. How you withdraw when something feels unfamiliar. How you have learned to stay in control by staying distant. There is no judgment here. Only awareness. Awareness is the beginning of choice. And choice is the foundation of any connection destined to last. You may feel a moment of inner tension, a pull between curiosity and caution. This is normal. This is healthy. This is what happens when something meaningful approaches a heart that has learned to survive without relying on anyone. But destiny does not ask you to abandon yourself. It asks you to expand, to allow the possibility that someone sees you clearly and still chooses you, to allow the possibility that love can be calm instead of consuming, to allow the possibility that respect can exist alongside desire. This is the recalibration happening within you now. And as it happens, signs will begin to cluster. Not dramatic miracles, small confirmations, repeated names, familiar symbols, conversations that echo the same theme, each one reinforcing a single message. Pay attention. If you are still listening to this message, if you have not dismissed it, if something inside you keeps saying there is more, that is participation. That is consent to awareness. Destiny responds to that. Now understand this next part with precision. There will be a moment, soon, when interaction becomes possible, not forced, not staged, natural, a message, a shared space, a conversation that feels different than before. And when that moment arrives, you will notice something. There is no pressure in the air. You will not feel cornered. You will not feel obligated. You will not feel rushed. You will feel present. And presence is where truth speaks most clearly. Your person will not lead with demands. They will lead with respect, with attentiveness, with a quiet openness that allows you to be exactly where you are. This is intentional because they understand something now that they did not before. Love that is rushed fractures. Love that is allowed unfolds. And destiny unfolds what is meant to last. You are not being tested. You are being invited. Invited to notice how your body responds. Invited to notice how your heart feels. Invited to notice whether this connection brings contraction or expansion. Your body will tell you the truth before your mind catches up. If at any point you feel compelled to continue observing, to remain aware, to stay present with what is unfolding, honor that instinct. Those who do not rush clarity receive it cleanly. Now hear this final truth of this portion. Whether this path deepens into union or serves as a catalyst for growth, it is purposeful. Nothing about this confession was wasted. Nothing about this connection is accidental. It arrived to awaken something in you. And once awakened, that awareness cannot return to sleep. What comes next will reveal itself not through urgency, but through alignment. And alignment, my beloved soul, never lies. And now, my beloved soul, we arrive at the quiet place where destiny waits for your recognition. Not your decision, not your declaration, your recognition. Because everything that has unfolded up to this moment has been preparing you for one simple truth. You are not standing at the edge of coincidence. You are standing at the edge of awareness. The confession was never meant to rush you into action. It was meant to remove illusion, to dissolve the false belief that no one truly sees you, truly chooses you, truly feels you at depth. That belief has been living quietly in the background of your life for longer than you admit, and destiny has been patient with it. But patience does not mean permanence. You were always meant to arrive here, at a place where love is not dramatic, not chaotic, not consuming, but clear, grounded, respectful, brave enough to speak, and humble enough to wait. Your person understands this now. That is why they are not pulling. That is why they are not proving. That is why they are not demanding reassurance. They have already done the bravest thing they could do. They spoke truth without knowing the outcome. And now they are allowing destiny to respond. You may notice something else beginning to happen inside you. A quiet recalibration of your standards. You are no longer entertained by shallow attention. You are no longer moved by intensity without substance. Something in you is asking for sincerity, for steadiness, for emotional intelligence. That shift did not come from nowhere. It was activated. This is what happens when a soul-level truth brushes against your field. It reorganizes what you will tolerate. It clarifies what you are available for. It raises the bar without effort. And here is something important you must hear clearly. You are not required to rush into certainty. Certainty is not demanded of you. Presence is. All destiny asks is that you remain honest with yourself. If warmth arises, acknowledge it. If curiosity arises, allow it. If fear arises, observe it without judgment. None of these invalidate the connection. They inform it. You are allowed to move slowly. You are allowed to protect your heart while still opening your awareness. That balance is wisdom, not avoidance. Soon, you will notice a moment when things feel different, not louder, quieter, a sense of rightness without explanation. A feeling that whatever unfolds next will be handled with care, not chaos. That is alignment settling in. Your person will continue to show consistency, not perfection, consistency. They will continue becoming someone capable of holding the truth they spoke. And whether your paths draw closer through conversation, shared space, or quiet mutual awareness, you will feel one thing above all else: safety. And safety is the soil where real love grows. My beloved soul, I must say this plainly now. You are not late. You are not behind. You are not missing anything. Everything that happened before this moment shaped you into someone capable of recognizing sincerity when it arrives. And it has arrived, not wrapped in fantasy, not disguised as obsession, but standing calmly, honestly, in the open. The universe does not often present love this way. That is why it asked me to speak to you now. That is why you were guided to hear this message. That is why something in you stayed instead of scrolling past. If you feel seen, that is not imagination. If you feel understood, that is not coincidence. If you feel a quiet shift, that is alignment responding. Honor that. You do not need to announce anything to the world. You do not need to decide anything immediately. All you need to do is remain present with what is unfolding and trust that clarity will arrive at the pace that protects your heart. Destiny does not punish patience. It rewards discernment. And one final thing, my beloved soul, as you continue forward, remember this. Love that is meant for you will never require you to abandon yourself. It will meet you where you are, invite you gently, and grow alongside you. This connection has already proven that. Stay aware, stay honest, stay open, and when the next moment presents itself, you will know exactly how to respond. Not because someone told you what to do, but because your intuition will finally feel calm enough to speak clearly. If this message resonated, if it brought clarity, if it stirred something real within you, honor that awareness. Those who remain attentive receive guidance more easily, and destiny always moves fastest when it knows you are listening. I am with you, and what unfolds next will reveal everything you need to know.